Hey, everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Pregame presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. What's up, Chuck?
I feel like Smash Mouth. The games keep coming and they don't stop coming.
They do.
They play every day. It
They
seems like.
I really can't believe it's somehow only game 31, I think, today. It just feels like it's been going on, and busy day here in Philly. The Eagles just wrapped up a scrimmage against the JV team or something. Flyers on in about half an hour. The Sixers play later tonight. So busy schedule. Thank you for joining us here at PHLY. And Chuck, we are less than 24 hours removed from what was a really good first 25 minutes against a good team, and then a ass beating after that.
Hanging on for dear life.
It was truly an impressive turnaround by the Canes. And I was trying last night to balance, hey, they did what they do. They're really good, but also, I don't know, man. Scoring the first 5 minutes of the second period is totally different game, up 3-0. It's tough to do that, but here we are now. The Flyers have yet to lose 3 straight this season, and they are on the verge of that. They're 8-1-3 after a loss. Only the one regulation loss. Only once have they lost in regulation, twice, of course. Couple of overtime losses the last couple of, an overtime and a shootout loss the last couple of games.
Points.
They are picking up points, even in what I guess is a little skid at 2-2-2 homestand. Not the most successful, but I can't help but think, just looking at what they've done overall, I've been kind of impressed with their level of play, even factoring in some of these losses. You look at Colorado, Colorado looks like an unbeatable super team right now.
Yeah, look, you look at the schedule, it's obvious why they're losing.
Yeah.
Because they played one team in these 4 games that isn't good, and they destroyed them. And then they played 3 teams that have designs on winning a cup this year. I would say, honestly, looking at this schedule, because what they essentially do, they play 4 games, 8 possible points, they get 4 points. Honestly, a 500 points percentage, given the fact that they played 3 legitimate Stanley Cup contenders, I don't think it's that bad.
No, I'm looking at the way they've played, and honestly, I continue to think this team is at least, I don't think they're just in it because the East stinks. I do think they could be one of the 10 best teams in the East.
Yeah.
Now the difference between 6 and 10 doesn't really exist. So what does that mean? But I'm impressed with what we're seeing, and I'm hoping to see a little bit more tonight. And they've got the #1 goalie in the net. That is the first lineup note we got from Rick Tocchet today. It will be Dan Vladar and his .906 save percentage, 11-5-2 record, goals against just over 2.5 after the last game. I had some people wondering, maybe they should have switched this up a little, used your #1 guy in some of those games that, hey, they held on, they held on against Colorado and Vegas. What if Colorado and Carolina? What if, hey, the #1 guy's in there? Maybe that's 2 points. Maybe that's 1 against Colorado. I think the goalie tandem has been well broken up for the most part this season. I don't really have problems with the usage.
Yeah, I mean, the Colorado game, I guess, is the only one where I'm open to it. It seems like Tocchet just kind of wanted to reward Ersson for playing well against Buffalo, and Vladar did not play well against Pittsburgh. Last night, were there people actually critical of it? Because it's a back-to-back.
That's the thing.
They got a goalie's got to play in each of the games. They're not going to start Vladar in both games. If you were critical of the decision to start Ersson last night, you're really overthinking this.
Yeah, I think it's really just the that was a winnable game. You don't know if this one's going to be.
But it's against the same team.
So that's the second guessing.
It's against the same team. How is the first game a winnable game and the second one isn't?
It was winnable in the moment.
Oh, in the moment. Oh,
watching that game, you're they're in this game. Now, watching those goals, I don't know if Dan Vladar can stop Noah Cates from the puck hitting him in the skate.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that really something he's capable of doing? And of course, the game goes to a shootout, which it's kind of Sam Harrison's
Yeah, you
specialty.
actually
So
ended up.
like,
They had the right goalie in, and
yeah.
honestly, Ersson played good in the shootout.
He
They just
shot
couldn't
3 out of
score.
4.
They
Yeah,
just couldn't score.
he was fine. It was
Yeah.
just like, well, Zegras didn't score, so I don't really know what anyone wanted
And
us to do.
Michkov.
Yeah, and
Those are your two
yeah.
guys. You two guys who you're expecting to score in the shootout. Zegras and Michkov. Zegras has a higher overall percentage, but Michov's pretty darn good at him too. Neither of them score. You're in a tough spot. Harrison, yeah, he could he have been perfect? Sure, if you want to be hypercritical of Sam Harrison, which I gather a lot of people like to do.
Yeah, it's
But he did his job. He did his job in this game. One of the 3 goals, I would say, was completely not his fault. It's an own goal from Noah Cates. The other 2 are like, man, it would have been great if you had that save, but they're both extremely dangerous chances. One of them's a breakaway that he almost stopped. So I really, again, like, there are games, and I'm thinking back to, like, there was the, I think it was the St. Louis game.
yeah.
There are games where Sam Harrison actively plays poorly, and I will be more than willing to call him out when he actively plays poorly. Last night was not a game where he actively played poorly. He played fine.
No, that St. Louis game, I think that was the 6-5 shootout. And it was like, that should have been like 5-1 in regulation.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I am looking forward to, now that I have confidence we're going to get average goaltending out of Sam Harrison most nights. Yeah, he's going to have bad games because every goalie does. I'm looking forward to seeing what the split is, because we talked about this the other day with Vladar. I think like 14 or 1,700 minutes is his career high, 29 starts, 30 appearances. He's going to break that in like 4 or 5 weeks.
True.
If we are going to make the playoffs, if the Flyers are going to do it, they're probably going to lean on their number 1 down the stretch when they have, I think it's 26 games in 49 days. That's a ton of hockey.
Don't tell me that.
I know. I know it's more than one every other day. I think it was 26 and 49.
Wonderful.
After the Olympics. So if that's going to be the case, like, you're probably going to have to pull back on the workload a little bit. And now I'm confident they can and still win some games, or at least get some points, but it will be Vladar tonight. We do have another lineup change, Chuck. Cam York is back.
He's back.
Cam York is back. Ty Murchison comes out with Cam York returning, according to Jackie Spiegel. And I liked the Ty Murchison experience. Looking forward to him getting some more time. But just looking at what this defense can be, they're top 10 in goal suppression, top 5 in shots, or maybe I have that reversed. When York is back and healthy and Rasmus Ristolainen comes back, it's going to be like a legitimately decent defense, right?
Yeah.
They don't have that guy.
No, they don't have that
They don't have that guy, but as a 6 or 7 man group, pretty good.
Yeah, because I mean, right now they've kind of been doing that third pair with with tape. They've been putting tape over it. Noah Juleson has been fine, but certainly nothing spectacular. And then that other guy, Andre's now in the mix, and I would expect him to stay in the mix given the fact that he's done quite well with Drysdale. But you've got Zamula, you got in there, you got Murchison in there. Once you get York back, now you pull Murchison out, then you get Ristolainen back, which seems like it could happen as soon as this road trip. Suddenly, then you can take Juleson out. And as I've made the point on the show, like, even if you were a Noah Juleson truther, if you were he's actually good, like, Ristolainen is Noah Juleson, but better. He's a better Noah. He does literally all the same things that Noah Juleson does, except he's just a better hockey player. So that will be a significant upgrade as well. Yeah, top to bottom, especially now with Andre in the mix and in a clear role. Suddenly, if you get York and Risto back, once Risto especially shakes off the rust, 1 through 6, that's a pretty darn good decor. Now, again, doesn't have that big alpha number 1, but most teams, I mean, I'm even going, as recently as, like, look at the Dallas Stars last year. They were a cup contender, and half their defense stunk. Like, most teams don't have 1 through 6 all above average defensemen, and the Flyers will. That will be an advantage for them against most teams.
It will, and we will see that play out. But I'm happy to see York back, and can't believe we live in a world where it's like, Risto's coming back, baby. Playoffs, here we go. But that's actually what we're seeing. I will say, though, I wouldn't call myself a Noah Juleson truther. I will say he has beaten my expectations pretty handily.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like, maybe in terms of like what I thought was going to happen coming in and what we're getting. Number 1, in terms of defying expectations, just, I thought Vladar might be okay, and he's been better than okay. He's been really good. I thought there's a chance Trevor Zegras is a star, and he's, like, trending in that direction. I didn't think we were going to be very happy at all with Noah Juleson, and he's made some plays. Plus, I think he's your best power play option right now. We'll see, we'll see about that. Let's get to the offense, though, Chuck, as we await lines. Do we have them yet, Brian? We do have. All right, let's check out the lines, and then we'll go to that. Everything remains the
So they just
same,
kept
it
everything
appears.
together.
Yeah, okay.
I'm mildly surprised,
Grunstrom and Gurbankin didn't switch
Yeah,
places. Yeah.
because it does seem like Grunstrom is look. Gurbankin matters more for the future. He is a young player, he is a developing player, and you want to give him that long look in the top 9 to see what you have in him. But Carl Grunstrom's been really impressive in fourth line minutes, and they did briefly, a couple games ago, bump Grunstrom up. They did the switch.
I think it was Vegas
I
in the
believe it
third.
was the Vegas game. And I didn't even think Gurbankin was playing that poorly. It was just that Grunstrom was playing really well. Grunstrom has another game where he scores a big goal, big response goal in the third to ensure that they at least get a point out of that game. I was just wondering if maybe they would do a little flip-flop, especially after 2 losses. But looks like at least to start, it's going to be Gurbankin on that Kate's Brink line. I do wonder if maybe there was a little bit of a short leash there, though.
So I do wonder that as well. And you look at the defense, that remains.
So York is back.
Oh, York is back.
York
So
jumps in
Steelers
with
down on that third pair,
Okay.
at least
Okay.
for now. I wonder if that remains that way or if we start to see maybe a little bit of flip flopping, given that's kind of a little bit of a redundant third pair.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay with it for now. What I think will be interesting to see is do they keep, like when Risto comes back,
Yeah.
are they going to roll Seal or Risto just to keep the Andre Drysdale pairing together? Or do you go Andre Risto and put Sealer back up with Drysdale? Like, I want Andre to be getting top 4 minutes because I think he's doing pretty well in them. At the same time, Andre Ristolainen is a pair that just makes sense to me.
It does.
It makes stylistic sense in a way that Sealer Ristolainen doesn't.
If I'm putting together the lines in the video game, it's like big guy, little guy. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It looks right. So we'll see how that goes. But those are the lines right now. Let's take a look at that offense, Charlie, because you've been talking a little bit about these line combinations, and you look at the Dvorak, Zegras, Konechny line. I don't think anyone has many complaints there.
It's been good.
It's producing. The fourth line, since Grunstrom has joined, he's got points in 3 straight games.
It's at least hanging on. It's not getting killed. They're getting goals here and there.
I could get something out of them.
They now again look like a competent NHL fourth line.
These 2 middle lines, though, feel like we could be getting a little bit more out of them. I know you were tweeting today, or maybe it was last night.
Yeah,
I didn't
this
see the
morning.
timestamps.
Yeah.
About the the underlying numbers for the Michkov, Tippett, Coots line are good. That Kate's line, though, man, everything they've really tried since Forster went down,
Yeah.
it's not getting the results.
I mean, I think where I'm at with that line is I do think it's important to give Gurbankin an extended look to see what you have in him. And stylistically, he does have some similarities, size-wise, physicality-wise. When he's playing his best, he's strong along the boards. So he does have some similarities to Forster, so I get it. But I do think that this is something where you can't just set it and forget it. If number one, like Grunstrom's there, and maybe you give Grunstrom a look. Maybe you say like, well, his offensive upside isn't the same as Gurbankin, but maybe he can replicate a little bit more what Forster brings to the table. But I do think that there's an element here where if Gurbankin continues to not struggle, but if that line continues to struggle, at some point you do start to think about a call-up. Because we do know that they always have that in the back of their minds of like, at some point, Alex Bump is going to get a look. I would be intrigued to see, not yet, but in a week or two, maybe after the Christmas break, if the Kate's line with Gurbankin is still sitting on a 40% expected goals for percentage in 100+ minutes, maybe you give Alex Bump a look and you park Gurbankin down to the minors for a little bit.
All right. While the offense, we're getting I think we're finally to the point of we kind of know what kind of seasons these guys are having. When their hot streaks happen, it's not, oh, well, Bobby Brink started the year in a hot streak. He's probably going to be a 65-point player. Like, I think we've moved beyond that
Get a
part
better
of the
understanding
season.
who they are, yeah.
I will say, though, like, the last month, this offense has really picked it up. Overall this season, 2.83 goals a game, 24th, nothing special there. But we all remember the first couple of weeks. The first 16 games, they're about 2.5 goals a game, 30th. They were dreadful. They're getting 18 shots some nights, hoping to like win 2-1 somehow.
Yeah.
Since November 14th, it's been 14 games. Today is December 14th. They're 3.14. They are top 10 in the last month in goals per game. Do you think this is guys starting to grasp what Rick Tocchet is telling them to do?
I think that's part of it. Sure. They definitely look, at least to my eyes, they look more confident. Now, that doesn't mean that they look good. Like looking at these numbers, you said since November 14th. So since November 14th, looking at expected goal numbers on Evolving Hockey, the Flyers are 21st. So it's better. They're not bottom three like they were in October and even into the beginning of November, but they're still in the bottom third of the league. I don't think a Rick Tocchet coach team, especially given the fact that, this team has one guy in Trevor Zegras who's a high-end talent who's playing like it, another guy in Michkov who is not necessarily playing like it, and then another guy in Tippett who plays like it, once every 2 weeks. So they're never going to be near the top with the talent they have. And also, I think Rick Tocchet coach teams are always like their ceiling is probably mid-tier scoring chance creation by the numbers, and then maybe because of the motion they use in the offensive zone, they can sustain a higher than average shooting percentage, and that's how you become, hopefully down the road, a top 10 goal scoring team. But I don't think they're ever going to be a team that's like, oh man, they're the Colorado Avalanche. It's just not the way they're going to play. Things are getting better, but I think there's a cap on how much better they can get as long as Rick Tocchet is coach, because he's just not a high-flying coach.
No, like you look at the Avs and it's like, yeah, they average 4 goals a game, and I bet you their expected goals are like the same. Yeah, and they create a ton of freaking
Yeah.
chances. They're that good. Tocchet teams, in order to score a lot, are going to have to sustain a high shooting percentage. Right now, I think no, I don't think they're going to go through a season where they shoot 20% because that's ridiculous. But maybe a tad higher than average they could get by on based on whatever he's cooking up for the offensive end,
And I think they can, because I do think that's part of his strategy. Now, going back to that 2023-2024 Vancouver team that scored the lights out, like, yeah, that was them shooting at a high shooting percentage and getting lucky. Like they
Yeah.
had guys, third liners, fourth liners who finished the season with an 18% shooting percentage. Like, yeah, probably not their true talent
Yeah.
level. But I do think that based on the way the Tocchet coaches offense, he doesn't want them taking shots in the perimeter. He doesn't want them just shooting from anywhere the way this team, the way Carolina does. He wants them using motion in the offensive zone, trying to get to the middle, trying to take shots from the slot. I think that can help you sustain, an above 10% shooting percentage. Sure. It's just like you can't depend upon them shooting 15. No team can do
Yeah,
that
because
over a
that's
big sample
insane.
size. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. On the other side, we're going to talk about this current struggle that this Flyers team has with the Carolina Hurricanes. We're going to have our pregame picks, but right now, got to tell you about Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide. They live stream almost 800,000 live events each year, and they have the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 different sports. And with the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner. If your team gains a 3-goal lead, you get an instant payout on straight bets, and your parlay selections are marked as winners. Just download the app and use code PHLY when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And we have breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. Sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and in PA. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I'm over at a friend's place. He is pumped to watch some hockey. He's pumped to get some football going. And then we get there, and his setup, it is a total mess. It's lagging, it's buffering. We have to switch between 20 different apps to find the games we're looking for. He claimed he was a big fan, but I feel like I've been fan fished. See, if you call yourself any sort of sports fan, you gotta have Xfinity because it's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place, and the way I watch, it's next level. Xfinity is the perfect fan flex. I've got all the action right in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. So it feels like I'm right in the arena. Sometimes I've even got up to 4 games going at once because why not? On top of that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every single time. So next game day, make sure you're a big fan, not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. All right, so last night we talked a bit about how Brenda Moore's Canes have just owned the Flyers in Philly. But really, this has been an overall domination since he took over the job,
They
Charlie.
just own them in general.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, they have lost 7 straight overall. We know about the 9 in a row in Philly, but they've lost 7 straight overall. Brenda Moore's Canes are, or the Flyers are 5-13-7, so 5-20 against the Hurricanes
Yikes.
since Brenda Moore got the job, and 3 of those 5 wins all came in 2019-20. That is the last time they beat them at home was, I think it was March 5th, 2020. It's really they've won the season series once in these 7 seasons. I think the second COVID season they just didn't play, so I think it's only been 7 years. I realize that they're just really good. Like, yeah. But man, mediocre and bad teams beat good teams all the time. It is a long season. Do you think like Brendan Moore's got money on the board because it's his old team and he's really got the boys motivated? Like, what is it specifically about this team that the Flyers really, no matter the iteration, we're talking about like 2 or 3 coaches here, they have no answers for what this team does. Forechecking, even the goalie questions they sometimes have, doesn't matter. Flyers play, the Canes win.
I think it's 2 things actually, because I do think there are reasons. It's not just, well, they're better. Because you're right. Sometimes bad teams beat good teams. That happens all the time. But I do think there's a stylistic issue in 2 ways when it comes to the Flyers. You look at the Canes. How do you beat the Canes? There's generally speaking 2 ways that you sustainably defeat the Carolina Hurricanes. Way number 1 is they're going to shoot like crazy, so you need a good goaltending performance. You need a goalie who is able to
And that is all the time.
to not give up weak goal. Like they're probably going to shoot like 35, 40 times. They're going to get a ton of shots on that. You need a goalie who can just stand tall and not give up a weak goal. The Flyers, over the majority of the Rob Brind'Amour era, have not had terribly reliable goaltending through a lot of it, and at best, it's been decent. Like the height of the Carter Hart era was decent, and that was it.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. Number 2, and you saw this in the first period, I thought it was very noticeable in the first. If you are going to withstand the Carolina style, which is heavy forecheck, grind it out, you need to be very good at zone exits. You need to be very good at efficient zone exits, which at its core comes from your defense first. The Flyers defensively, number 1, they've lacked that alpha. They haven't had that guy, that guy who can be like the Miro Haskin and the Kale McCarr, who's like, yeah, you want to forecheck me? All right, bye. Like, they just don't have that. So the only way you can get it done against Carolina is if you do it truly via a team effort. In the first period, they did. They did a great job. It was a lot of quick ups. They were winning battles. They were doing well along the boards. Carolina was not getting many opportunities to get those second chance opportunities on the forecheck. Then in the second and third period, it was a totally different story. They were getting hemmed in constantly. So I think it's number 1. They haven't had great goaltending, and you need great goaltending to withstand the barrage that Carolina sends at you pretty much every single night. And number 2, if you're going to actually outplay them, you need to have a D-core that is really good at breaking a forecheck, and they haven't really had that either.
That second period, I have never seen anything like the number of failed breakouts, whether there was pressure or not. They just folded under the thought of Carolina's forecheck. But the shot attempts thing, Charlie, that I had to point out. We said this, it came up on the broadcast and we said it in post game, but you weren't here for it. So with 13 minutes left in the third last night, Flyers are actually out shooting the Canes 17-15 shots on goal. Attempts are 51-27 games. Like, they just throw everything at the net. And there is an element of, all right, well, in the playoffs, you're typically up against the best goalies. And if you don't have that one guy who is just going to shoot 18% because he's good enough, maybe you can't win a series. That's been the Canes' problem. But in the regular season, they do just seem to bombard people.
Yeah, and it's a very solid way to win a lot of regular season games. The question is, can they pull it together in the playoffs? And it's not like, I push back a little bit on the idea that like the Canes are playoff chokers. Like they
have gone to the conference
they
final.
always win at least a round.
Yeah.
They win series. It's just that when it really gets down to all right, these are the 4 best teams, those teams tend to have a Matthew Tkachuk or they have an Igor Shesterkin or something. Like they run into a team that just has a couple guys who are better than any of the guys Carolina has, and those teams tend to just rely upon those guys to carry them past the Canes, and so far it's worked.
And let's be honest with each other, narrative wise, people want to poke holes in the analytic team. And now that Dr. T is like in charge, of course they do.
Of course they do.
Like, yeah, that's very obvious.
And it's abundantly clear that Tulski knows what their flaw is. I mean, there's a reason why he went big and tried to trade for Rantanen. Like, he's been going for the Stars. He was involved in the conversation, apparently, for Quinn Hughes. Like, he's in on everybody the same way we want the Flyers to be in on everybody. Now, doesn't mean he gets all of them, but he clearly recognizes that, yeah, we have the foundation, we have the high floor. Now we need to raise our ceiling a bit, and he's trying.
Elliot Friedman says probably every show, yeah, the Canes are always star hunting. Like, that is their thing. Dundon wants a star. Dr. T knows they need a star. And it's like getting one and then getting him to stay. That's just kind of a different story. We'll see if they ever get it done.
We'll see.
I kind of always have a soft spot for the Canes because of Brendamore. And now, Tulski's there too.
Dr. T.
But I would really, really love to break this losing streak. All right, Charlie. Here's our Bet365 pregame picks. Sign up at Bet365 and use code PHLY365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for 5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Whether your initial bet wins or loses, must be 21 plus an NPA. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 2 bets tonight. We're getting back on the Matvei Michkov train.
Okay.
It has been 4 games without a point.
I think he gets a point.
I just think,
I think he gets a point tonight. I agree.
This is just one of those regression things. Like, yeah, man, he can get an assist. Why wouldn't he? And the way you were talking about that line, like, no one spent a ton of time in the offensive zone last night, but they actually did.
Yeah.
I think Corsi was basically even expected goals. They actually pretty well dominated.
And they are getting, it's worth noting, like, they are getting sheltered. They are getting a lot
of
third
third line.
They are getting a lot of offensive zone starts. They are being kept away from the top tier players, which I'm sure is a change of pace for Sean Couturier, who's used to matching up against top tier players. Now he's basically been turned into, like, okay, you're going to take care of Matvei Michkov, and when he messes up defensively, you're going to cover for him. That's basically the role he's being used in, which is different than being the shutdown guy. But that does help them produce chances. But they're still producing chances. Now they just have to produce goals.
I really like, and I'm not like blaming you because that's the way it's framed, and that's really like what we're being told without actually being told that. The fact that those two are stuck together, what other conclusion are we supposed to draw? I do like, though, that I find it funny. Oh, well, he's got to cover up for Mish defensively. And nobody ever thinks about the offensive side of the game. That guy wouldn't score a freaking point the last 2 years without Matvei Michkov, but okay, yeah, it's only the one end. It's not him helping him out the other. Whatever. Anyway, Michkov over half a point, plus money. It's been 4 games. It's time for him to get something, so we're going to take that. And Dan Vladar over 26.5 saves, minus 115. Flyers are a really good shot suppression team. The number's usually like 22.5 for Vladar every night, but it's the Hurricanes. It gets bumped up a little. I don't love it. I don't love the odds, but they could easily get 40 shots on them because they're the Hurricanes.
Yeah, they could. And it does seem like, for whatever reason, Ariston has more of the low shot on goal games, and Vladar gets more of the high shot on goal games. So
it is very fun, and perhaps with the back-to-back, a little tired, not as willing to block some shots like they were.
Both teams will be a little tired.
Both teams a little tired, but maybe they won't be as quick to get into the shooting lanes as they were last night. Whatever the case, those are our 2 bets brought to you by Bet365. Now I just got to tell you about a couple things. First one is hats. That's right. We're selling hats.
They're pretty cool looking hats.
These are decent hats. I know I'm very picky about my hats. I actually like a lot of these designs. Check them out. All new hat release at allphly.com. Click that merch tab. And we are still running our Flyers Charities Carnival giveaway. That's right. Click or scan that QR code right there. We have 10 general admission tickets. We are giving one apiece away to winners. Boom, that's cool. You get in, be part of it. It's a great day. Great day to be a Flyers fan, interact with the team. Come say hi to us when we do our live show. And 2 grand prizes. A sign and snap with Cam York and a sign and snap with Travis Sanheim. You meet one of the Flyers' top 2 defensemen, get a picture, get an autograph, say hello. It's awesome. Everybody loves the Flyers Charities Carnival. Scan the QR code to enter or check out our website. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, follow us right here on YouTube. We will be live right here as soon as this thing goes final with post-game. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. I am Bill. That's Charlie. Thank you to Brenna. Let's go Flyers.
We all silly like the mayor.